And in a current economic climate, many South Africans are dealing with the reality of losing their jobs, their main source of income and livelihoods, with most having had to live from hand to mouth since the days of the COVID pandemic. Recovery has been rather slow, and statistics are indicating that most consumers are still heavily indebted and are struggling to service their debts as well as loans. Credit market activity has also declined, with the middle class also suffering major losses due to the high inflation and forever rising interest as well as repo rates, all painting a very gloomy outlook as we head into the new year with no hopes of an ease in the current economic climate. So what are your options? Well, let's extend a very hearty festive welcome to Dr. Linda Meyer. She is the Managing Director of the Independent Institute of Education at the Rosebank College. Doctor, tough news for everyone, right? Are there really any options, especially for those who have lost their main source of income but have children to feed and to educate, homes and cars to pay for?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Yes, so the most important thing is obviously to understand what the situation is that you find yourself in. So people that are being retrenched get a severance package, and it's important that they are pragmatic around what they do with this money. It's not helpful to go on a spending spree, but rather to see how a budget can assist in mitigating spending. So make sure that you limit the spending that you are then incurring. Also make sure that you get a tax directive from SARS so that you are able to get the maximum benefit that is paid out in terms of your retrenchment benefit. And we refer to this as a dismissal for operational requirements. So it's a no-fault dismissal. Also, you're entitled to UIF if you've been contributing to the fund, and the employer is obviously obliged to have been contributing to the fund. So make sure that you get all of those forms and documents into the unemployment insurance fund so that you can claim this, and be very realistic about what it is that you need to do. But most importantly, tell your family, tell those loved ones around you what is going on for you. We often see cases where people get dressed every day and go to work and still pretend that they are employed. And it is important to take a grieving period. So say to yourself, for 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to grieve. You're going to allow yourself to really come to terms with what is transpired.
And Doctor, talk to us about then the legal safeguards that are provided by the Labour Relations Act. I know you mentioned a while ago, as well as the basic conditions of the Employment Act here in South Africa.
So certainly, the Labour Relations Act protects employees. So you can't just tell somebody, a boss can't arrive at work one day and say to somebody, you're retrenched, leave, we can't afford to pay you. So certainly there's a process of consultation. They have to look for alternatives. They have to look for this really to mitigate the circumstances, see if they can retain the employee in a different position. But when this happens, what is important is that employers must make this call as soon as possible, because when they run out of money, often we see that they're unable to meet their legal obligations to pay employees in terms of their severance pay, 1 week for every completed year of service. Sometimes they pay up to 2 or 3 weeks. All of the leave pay, all of the notice pay, all of those bonuses that are guaranteed in an employment contract. So those particular things employees are entitled to. Outstanding leave that they have accrued to them. So make sure that you are able to get all of those things. But most importantly, if you're unsure, contact the CCMA. They have a wonderful call center that is able to provide you with free advice, or a Department of Labour office on what it is that needs to transpire and how you are protected in terms of the law.
And that's all in good, Doctor, for those that are permanently employed. We know that's not the case for freelancers, but I mean, that's a conversation for another day. But this, of course, has a serious emotional, psychological impact on those that are affected by job losses, high levels of unemployment. We've seen a rise in suicides. Mothers, we saw the story, killing their children and themselves just because they couldn't cope with the levels of poverty and hunger. Sad times in our country, really.
Absolutely, very, very sad times. And we must be pragmatic around this. Our economy is not growing fast enough, really, for us to create new jobs. So important for everyone, whether you're employed, the situations change very rapidly, that you ensure that you upgrade your skills. There's free, wonderful courses available on Coursera, Harvard X, edX. Make sure that your skills are current. And even for unemployed people, these wonderful free courses show potential employers that you are upskilling and that you're making sure that there's a currency in the skills acquisition that you have. But make sure that emotionally you look after yourself. So contact the South African Depression and Anxiety line. Make sure that you have people to speak to around you. Don't lie. Be honest about what's going on for you. And don't be shy to reach out and ask for help. Whether it's food, whether it is, just in terms of basic household necessities. Make sure that you ask those around you to support you.
Doctor, thank you so much for those tips. That was Dr. Linda Meyer, the Managing Director of the Independent Institute of Education, out at the Rosebank College with tips on how to navigate through some of the financial challenges at this bleak economic time.